They said it was my problem. So I made it theirs. I stood alone at Rosehill Cemetery in Chicago, rain drumming on my black umbrella. The casket before me held my wife of 47 years. Margaret Morrison. Maggie. The woman who loved our children more than her own life. But our children, Michael and Jennifer, they weren't here. Not a single one. The rows of folding chairs set up for family sat empty, rainwater pooling in the seats. I looked down at the simple wooden casket, the cheapest one I could afford after spending everything on her cancer treatment. My hands shook as I gripped the umbrella handle. That's when I made a promise. Not to God, not to the priest mumbling prayers beside me. To her. To Maggie. They would pay for what they'd done. Every single betrayal. Every unanswered phone call. Every moment she spent dying while they lived their perfect lives. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back 6 months, before the funeral. Before the betrayal became unforgivable. Back when I still believed family meant something. Maggie and I lived in Oak Park, Illinois, a quiet suburb about 10 miles west of downtown Chicago. Our house was a small ranch-style home we'd bought in 1979. Nothing fancy. 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The roof leaked during heavy rains. And the furnace rattled like a freight train every winter. But it was ours. Paid off after 30 years of mortgage payments on my factory worker salary. I'd retired 3 years earlier at age 60. 9 from the Ford assembly plant in Chicago Heights, where I'd worked for 42 years. Maggie had been a librarian at the Oak Park Public Library for 35 years before retiring at 60. 6. Our retirement income wasn't much. My Social Security brought in $1,800 a month. Maggie's brought in $1,400. Together with my small pension of $900. We had $4,100 a month. We lived simply. Clipped coupons. Bought generic brands. Hadn't taken a vacation in 12 years. But we were happy. We had each other. And we had our children. Michael, our oldest at 45, was a vice president at Goldman Sachs in downtown Chicago. He lived in a penthouse in Gold Coast, drove a BMW, sent his 12-year-old son Ethan to a private school that cost $30,000 a year. Jennifer, 42, was what they call an influencer. She made money posting photos on Instagram and TikTok, showing off designer handbags and luxury brunches. She lived in a high-rise in Lincoln Park with a view of Lake Michigan. We were proud of them. So proud. We'd given them everything we couldn't have. Michael went to University of Illinois, for years that cost us $80,000. We took out loans, worked overtime, skipped meals to make those tuition payments. Jennifer went to Northwestern, even more expensive. Another $80,000. Then came Michael's first car, $25,000. Jennifer's wedding, $28,000. Maggie sewed Jennifer's wedding dress by hand because we couldn't afford to buy one. Her fingers bled from the needle for weeks, but she smiled through every stitch. We sacrificed everything for them. And we'd do it again. That's what parents do. That's what we believed. 5 months before Maggie's funeral, she started feeling sick. Stomach pains. Weight loss. Fatigue that wouldn't lift no matter how much she slept. I begged her to see a doctor. She kept saying it was nothing, just old age catching up. But when she fainted in our kitchen one Tuesday morning, I rushed her to Rush University Medical Center. The doctor was young, maybe 35. With kind eyes that couldn't hide the bad news. He sat us down in a sterile white room that smelled like disinfectant. "Mr. and Mrs. Morrison," he said, "I'm sorry. It's pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. Maggie's hand went cold in mine. "Stage 4, I repeated. What does that mean? It means it's advanced, he said. It spread to her liver and lungs. Without treatment, she has 6 to 12 months. And with treatment, Maggie whispered. The doctor hesitated. There's a new clinical trial at Northwestern. Immunotherapy combined with targeted chemo. It's shown promise. But it's not covered by Medicare. The cost is approximately $180,000. $180,000. The number hit me like a punch to the chest. Our entire savings account had $23,000. I'd already put down a $5,000 deposit for preliminary tests the week before. I looked at Maggie. Her eyes were filling with tears. But she was trying to smile. Trying to be brave. For me. Always for me. Doctor, I said, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at my throat. We'll find a way. That night, lying in bed, Maggie turned to me. Her face was pale in the moonlight streaming through our bedroom window. Henry, she said. We need to ask the kids for help. My heart sank. I didn't want to. I didn't want to burden them. But what choice did we have? Our children were successful. They had money. Surely they'd help save their own mother. I'll call them tomorrow, I promised. Maggie squeezed my hand. They'll help, Henry. I know they will. They're good kids. I wanted to believe her. God, how I wanted to believe her. But 3 days later, standing in Michael's luxury penthouse, watching him scroll through his phone while I begged for his mother's life, I realized something. Maggie was wrong. Our children weren't the people we thought they were. And what happened next would change everything. Michael's penthouse was everything our little ranch house wasn't. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Marble countertops. Leather furniture that probably cost more than our car. The place was spotless, cold, like a showroom instead of a home. I stood in the doorway holding Maggie's medical report, the paper crumpled from my grip during the 40-minute bus ride from Oak Park. Michael sat on a white leather couch, scrolling through his phone. He wore a charcoal suit that had to cost $3,000. His Rolex caught the afternoon light. He didn't look up. When I walked in, his wife Ashley was there too, perched on a bar stool at the kitchen island, tapping on her laptop. She gave me a quick smile, the kind you give a stranger, then went back to her screen. Dad, Michael said, still not looking at me. Make it quick. I've got a conference call in 10 minutes. I stepped closer, my worn shoes squeaking on the hardwood floor. Son, I started. And my voice cracked. Your mother. She's sick. Cancer. Stage 4. That got his attention. He looked up, his face flickering with something. Concern maybe. Or just surprise. Yeah, he said. You texted me about that. I'm sorry, Dad. That's rough. Rough. He called his mother dying rough, like it was a minor inconvenience. I pushed forward. The treatment costs $180,000. Medicare won't cover it. I've scraped together what I can, but we're short. We need help, Michael. Your mother needs help. Michael set his phone down. He looked at Ashley, then back at me. His jaw tightened. Dad, he said slowly. That's a lot of money. I know, I said. I know it is. But she's your mother. Please. Ashley spoke up then, her voice bright and sharp. We gave you $5,000 last year, remember? For the roof. The roof. Our roof had been leaking for 2 years. Water stains spreading across the bedroom ceiling. I'd finally asked for help. And they'd given us $5,000 like it was charity. Maggie had cried, ashamed we had to ask. But we'd thanked them. We'd been grateful. That was for the house, I said quietly. This is for your mother's life. Michael stood up, towering over me. He was 6'2", athletic, confident. Everything I used to be before 42 years in a factory wore me down. Dad, he said. And his voice had an edge now. I've got a mortgage on this place. $16,000 a month. Ethan's private school is $30,000 a year. Ashley's car payment. My car payment. Property taxes. We're stretched thin as it is. Stretched thin. He was stretched thin. I looked around at the penthouse, at the 70-inch TV on the wall, at the wine rack stocked with bottles that probably cost more than our weekly grocery budget. Son, I said, and I hated how my voice sounded. Desperate. Broken. Please. I'm begging you. It's your mother. Michael's face hardened. Dad, listen to me. You and Mom, you made your choices. You chose to live small. Save nothing. Spend everything on us. That's on you. This is your problem, not mine. The words hit me like a slap. Your problem. Not mine. I stared at my son, this man I'd worked 3 jobs to put through college. I remembered teaching him to ride a bike when he was 6, running beside him, promising I'd never let him fall. I remembered him breaking his arm at 8, the hospital bill I couldn't afford, the extra shifts I worked to pay it off. I remembered his graduation day, how he'd hugged me and said, Dad. I couldn't have done this without you. That Michael was gone. This stranger in the expensive suit, he wasn't my son. I'll ask Jennifer, I said quietly. You do that, Michael said. He picked up his phone again. The conversation was over. Jennifer's apartment in Lincoln Park was smaller than Michael's penthouse but just as expensive. 1,900 square feet. She'd told us once. Floor-to-ceiling windows facing the lake. I took the elevator to the 14th floor, my heart already heavy from Michael's rejection. Jennifer opened the door in yoga pants and a designer sweatshirt. Her phone was in her hand, always in her hand. She was filming herself, talking to the camera with that bright fake voice she used online. Hey besties, she chirped. Just finished my morning smoothie, and let me tell you about this amazing skincare line. She saw me and her smile flickered. Hold on, she said to the camera. She stopped recording. Dad. What are you doing here? I didn't call ahead. Couldn't bear to hear the rejection over the phone. I stepped inside. The apartment smelled like expensive candles and fresh flowers. Shopping bags from Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue were piled on the couch. A new handbag sat on the counter, the price tag still attached. $4,800. Jennifer, I said. Your mother's dying. I need your help. She set her phone down. Her face went carefully blank. I know, Dad. You texted. I'm really sorry. Sorry. Everyone was sorry. But sorry didn't pay for treatment. I need money, I said bluntly. $180,000 for treatment. I've got some of it, but not enough. Can you help? Jennifer's eyes widened. Dad, she said. That's insane. I don't have that kind of money. I looked at the shopping bags. The designer handbag. The luxury apartment. Anything, I said. Whatever you can spare. She shook her head. Dad, I'm drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed out. The boutique I tried to start last year, it failed. I lost everything. I can barely keep this place. But you just bought a $4,000 handbag, I said, pointing. Her face flushed. That's for work, she snapped. Content creation. I need to maintain my image. Your mother is dying, I said, louder now. Doesn't that matter more than your image? Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Of course it matters, she said. But Dad, Mom's always been dramatic about health stuff. Remember when she thought she had pneumonia and it was just a cold? She'll be fine. She's tough. She's not being dramatic, I said. It's stage 4 cancer. She has months to live without treatment. Jennifer looked away. I'm sorry, she whispered. I just can't help. Right now. I stood there in her luxury apartment, surrounded by things she didn't need, looking at my daughter who wouldn't save her own mother. And something inside me broke. Not with sadness. With rage. I left without another word. On the bus ride home, I called Maggie. She answered on the first ring. Henry, she said, her voice weak. What did they say? I couldn't tell her the truth. Not yet. They're working on it, I lied. They'll send something soon. There was a long pause. Then Maggie said something that shattered me. I already called them, Henry. Last week. They both said no. She knew. She'd known all along. And she'd sent me anyway, hoping maybe I'd have better luck. Hoping her children would surprise her. I'm sorry, Maggie whispered. I'm so sorry. I sat on that bus. Surrounded by strangers, and realized my wife was dying. And our children, the ones we'd sacrificed everything for, they'd already decided she wasn't worth saving. That's when something changed in me. Something fundamental. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was done. If they wanted to abandon their mother, fine. But they'd learn what it felt like. Every bit of it. I sold everything. That's not a figure of speech. I mean everything. The Honda Accord I'd driven for 15 years went first. I put an ad on Craigslist, sold it to a college kid for $4,200. Watching him drive away, I felt a piece of my independence go with it. That car had taken us to Jennifer's wedding, to Ethan's birth at the hospital, to Maggie's last day of work when she retired. Now it was gone. Next, I went to the bank. The manager, a woman named Patricia who'd known us for 20 years, looked uncomfortable as I explained what I needed. Mr. Morrison, she said gently. If you withdraw your 401k before retirement age, you'll pay a 20% penalty. I understand, I said. Do it anyway. Our retirement fund had $38,000. After penalties and taxes, I walked out with $30,400. 38 years of saving, reduced to a check that wouldn't even cover a fifth of Maggie's treatment. Then came the house. Our home. The place where we'd raised our children, celebrated Christmases, grown old together. I applied for a reverse mortgage, signing papers that made my hands shake. The bank gave me $65,000 against the equity. If Maggie died, if I died, the bank would take the house. We'd have nothing to leave our children. Not that they deserved anything. I took out loans. The credit union approved $15,000 at 18% interest. I opened 3 credit cards, maxed them out immediately. Cash advances, balance transfers, whatever I could get. Another $12,000. I added it all up on our kitchen table, receipts and bank statements spread across the worn formica. $115,600. Still $64,000 short. So I got a job. At 72 years old, with a bad back and knees that ached every morning, I put on a blue vest and became a Walmart greeter on the night shift. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. 4 nights a week. $12 an hour. After taxes, about $1,800 a month. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But I gave Maggie what I had, and we started treatment. Northwestern Memorial Hospital became my second home. The oncology wing on the 8th floor, room 814. Maggie's room. I took the bus every day, 2 transfers, 2 hours each way. I'd sit beside her bed while poison dripped into her veins, killing the cancer and killing her at the same time. She lost her hair first. Then wait. Her skin turned gray, her eyes hollow. But she never complained. Not once. She'd hold my hand and say, "Henry, you're working too hard. You need to rest." Rest. I'd rest when she was better. Or when she was gone. Sitting in that hospital room one afternoon, I remembered another hospital visit. 37 years ago. Michael was 8, playing Little League baseball. He'd slid into second base wrong, snapped his radius bone clean through. I can still hear his screaming. The hospital bill was $4,000. Our insurance covered half. I didn't have $2,000. So I worked 3 jobs. My regular shift at the Ford plant, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then janitorial work at a school, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then weekend shifts at a gas station. I did that for 8 months until the bill was paid. Michael never knew. I never told him. That's what fathers do. We carry the weight so our children don't have to. I thought he'd understand. When he had his own son, when he saw what it meant to sacrifice for your child, I thought he'd get it. But Ethan went to private school and summer camps in Colorado. Michael never missed a meal or a mortgage payment. He never had to learn what sacrifice meant. Another memory. Jennifer's wedding. Maggie and I had saved $12,000 for it. Jennifer wanted a destination wedding in Napa Valley. $40,000 minimum. We couldn't do it. She cried for a week. So Maggie made a plan. She'd sew the dress herself. We'd have the wedding at our church. Potluck reception in the fellowship hall. Cut every corner we could. We got it down to $28,000. I took out a loan for the difference. Maggie worked on that dress for 4 months. Every night after dinner, she'd sit at her old Singer sewing machine, threading lace and beading pearls. Her fingers bled. Literally bled. The needle would prick her, and she'd wipe the blood on a tissue and keep going. The dress was beautiful. Jennifer looked like a princess. And when people asked where she got it, she'd say, "Oh, just a little boutique." She never mentioned her mother's bleeding fingers. Now that same daughter couldn't spare a dime to save the woman who'd bled for her. By week 6 of treatment, the doctors knew it wasn't working. The tumors weren't shrinking. Maggie was getting weaker. Dr. Chen, the oncologist, pulled me aside. "Mr. Morrison," he said, "I think we should talk about hospice." "No," I said. "We keep fighting." But Maggie heard. And that night, alone in her hospital room, she told me the truth. "Henry," she said, "I'm tired. I don't think I can do this much longer." Her hands were cold. So cold. I wrapped them in mine, trying to give her my warmth. "You have to," I said. "Please, Maggie. Don't leave me." She smiled. That same smile from 50 years ago when I'd asked her to marry me. "I'm not leaving you," she said. "I'm just going ahead. You'll catch up eventually." She pulled a photo from her bedside drawer. Michael and Jennifer as children. 6 and 3 years old. Michael's missing front tooth. Jennifer's pigtails. They were smiling, ice cream on their faces from a day at Navy Pier. They were good kids once, Maggie whispered. "What happened to them, Henry?" I didn't have an answer. Maybe we gave them too much. Maybe we didn't teach them enough. Or maybe some people just grow up and forget where they came from. Maggie looked at me with those tired eyes. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything. Promise me you'll forgive them. They're still our children. They make mistakes. We all do. But they're ours. Promise me you won't hate them." I looked at her, dying because our children chose designer handbags over her life. And I lied. "I promise," I said. She squeezed my hand. "Good," she said. "That's good." 3 days later, at 3:47 in the morning, Margaret Morrison took her last breath. I was holding her hand. And I was already breaking my promise. 3:47 in the morning. I'll never forget that time. That's when the monitor went from beeping to one long, endless tone. That's when Maggie's chest stopped rising. That's when I became a widower. The nurse came in, checked her vitals, looked at me with practiced sympathy. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Morrison," she said. "Would you like me to call someone for you?" My children, I thought. I should call my children. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. Called Michael first. It rang 4 times, went to voicemail. "Your mother's gone," I said to the recording. "She died at 3:47. I hung up. Called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. 4 times. He never picked up. Jennifer's phone went straight to voicemail. Do not disturb mode. I texted her instead. "Your mother passed away. Please call me." The message showed delivered at 3:52 am. At 6:23 am, it showed read. No reply came. I sat there beside Maggie's body until sunrise. The nurses were kind. They brought me coffee, tissues, gave me space. At 7:30, an administrator came in with paperwork. Funeral arrangements. Cremation or burial. Casket selection. Everything reduced to checkboxes and signatures. "How much?" I asked, for the simplest option. She showed me the price list. The cheapest casket was $1,200. Basic burial plot at Rosehill Cemetery, $1,800. Service fees, death certificate, transportation. Total, $4,800. I had $6,000 left in checking. Maggie's funeral would take most of it. I signed the papers. Scheduled the funeral for Friday, 4 days away. Surely Michael and Jennifer would come. Surely they'd say goodbye to their mother. The funeral director asked for names for the obituary. I gave him our information. Survived by husband Henry Morrison, son Michael Morrison and wife Ashley, daughter Jennifer Morrison, grandson Ethan Morrison. Looking at those names on paper, I felt sick. Survived by. They weren't there when she needed them. They didn't deserve to be listed as survivors. The funeral was on a gray Friday morning. Rosehill Cemetery is one of Chicago's oldest, sprawling across 350 acres. Maggie's plot was in the newer section, under a young oak tree. It was raining. Not a downpour, just a steady cold drizzle that soaked through clothes and chilled bones. I arrived early. The funeral home had set up a small tent, 2 rows of folding chairs. 12 chairs total. The front row on the left was reserved for immediate family. Michael, Ashley, Ethan. The front row on the right for Jennifer and a guest. Those chairs had small cards on them. Reserved for family. People started arriving. Our neighbor Dorothy, 75 years old, who'd brought us casseroles when Maggie got sick. 2 women from the library where Maggie worked. A couple from our church. Tom Bradley, my lawyer friend. 10 people total. Not counting me. The service started at 11. The priest from our church, Father Murphy, gave a short sermon about eternal rest and God's mercy. I didn't hear most of it. I was staring at those empty chairs in the front row. The reserved signs getting spotted with rain. At 11:15, a delivery van pulled up. A young man got out carrying a flower arrangement. $50 bouquet. Roses and lilies. He set it near the casket, handed me a card. The card read, "Rest in peace, Mom. With love, Michael, Ashley, and Ethan." $50 worth of flowers. That's what his mother's death was worth. He couldn't even deliver them himself. At 11:40, my phone buzzed. A text from Michael. "Sorry Dad, can't make it. Work emergency. We're thinking of you. Work emergency." On a Friday. The day of his mother's funeral. I checked Jennifer's Instagram. She'd posted a story 20 minutes ago. A photo of mimosas and French toast. "Brunch with my girls," the caption said. "Need this after a rough week. Hashtag self-care." Self-care. Her mother was being buried, and she was drinking mimosas. Father Murphy finished his sermon. The funeral home workers began lowering the casket. I stood up, walked to the edge of the grave, and looked down at the simple wooden box holding the woman I'd loved for 47 years. I reached into my pocket and pulled out her wedding ring. I'd taken it from her hand at the hospital. Simple gold band, worn smooth from decades of wear. I kissed it once, then set it on top of the casket before it descended. "Goodbye, Maggie," I whispered. The rain picked up. The small crowd dispersed quickly, umbrellas popping open, everyone hurrying to their cars. Within 10 minutes, I was alone. Just me and the grave diggers finishing their work. I stood there in the rain watching them shovel dirt onto my wife's casket. Each shovelful felt like a nail in a coffin of a different kind. The coffin of my relationship with my children. They'd abandoned her in life. They'd abandoned her in death. And I'd spent 50 years teaching them that family comes first, sacrifice matters, love is action not words. I'd failed. Or they had. Maybe both. I knelt in the mud beside the fresh grave. The workers had left. It was just me now. Rain soaking through my coat, mud staining my knees. I made a promise then. Not to Maggie this time. To myself. They wanted to forget about her, fine. But I'd make sure they never forgot what they'd done. I'd take everything from them. Not with violence. Not with anger. With the cold, methodical justice they deserved. Michael wanted to protect his money. I'd destroy his career. Jennifer wanted to protect her image. I'd shatter her reputation. They'd feel every ounce of pain they'd caused. Every ignored phone call. Every empty chair. Every moment Maggie died alone. This wasn't revenge. This was balance. This was consequence. I stood up, rain dripping from my hair, and walked away from the grave. I didn't look back. Grief does strange things to a person. Some people collapse inward, stop eating, stop living. Others, like me, we sharpen. We focus. And 3 days after burying my wife alone, I called Tom Bradley. Tom and I went back 40 years. We'd worked together at the Ford plant before he put himself through night school and became a lawyer. He'd retired 5 years ago at 63, but he still kept his license active. Helped friends with wills, property disputes, small cases. We met at a diner in Oak Park, corner booth. Coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. "Henry," he said, gripping my hand. I'm so sorry I couldn't stay after the service. I had to get Linda to her doctor's appointment. It's fine, I said. I appreciate you coming at all. We Saturday ordered coffee. The waitress left us alone. Tom looked at me with those sharp lawyer eyes. You didn't call me here to talk about Maggie, he said. What's going on? I pulled out a folder. Inside were printouts. Bank statements showing the money I'd spent on Michael and Jennifer over the years. Receipts from their college tuitions. Car purchases. Jennifer's wedding. The business loan I'd co-signed for her boutique that failed. Screenshots of their social media. Michael's BMW. Jennifer's designer lifestyle. And screenshots of my unanswered calls the night Maggie died. Tom flipped through the pages, his face darkening. Jesus, Henry, he muttered. I want to sue them, I said. Both of them. For everything I spent raising them. And I want to destroy them first, so when the lawsuit hits, they can't fight back. Tom set the folder down. He was quiet for a long moment. Henry, he said carefully. What you're talking about? Legally it's complicated. Illinois does have filial responsibility laws. Children can be held responsible for elderly parent care under certain circumstances. And there's precedent for recovering child rearing costs if you can prove abandonment or neglect. Can we win? Maybe, Tom said. But here's the thing. If you go after them while they still have money and lawyers, they'll fight you. Tie it up in court for years. You'll spend everything you have left on legal fees. So we make sure they don't have money first, I said. Tom leaned back, studying me. You want to go after their careers, their reputations. I want justice. He sighed. I'll help you, Henry. But you need to understand. Once you start this, there's no going back. Michael and Jennifer, they'll hate you. Forever. I thought about Maggie's empty funeral. The mimosa Instagram post. The $50 flowers. They already do, I said. They just don't know it yet. Tom made a call. 2 days later. I met Sarah Chen in a coffee shop in Evanston. She was 42, a former Chicago PD detective who'd gone private 5 years back. She specialized in financial investigations, infidelity cases, background checks. Mr. Morrison, she said, shaking my hand. Tom told me about your situation. I'm very sorry for your loss. Can you help me? She opened her laptop. Depends what you need. I need everything on my son Michael. His business dealings. His finances. Anything illegal, unethical, anything that could get him fired or investigated. Same for my daughter Jennifer. Debts. Fake endorsements, anything that violates FTC regulations or makes her look like a fraud. Sarah nodded, typing. That'll take about 2 weeks. My rate is $75 an hour. With the scope you're describing, probably 15 to 20 hours of work. Call it $1,500. $1,500. I had $1,200 left after the funeral. I'd have to pull from the credit cards again. Do it, I said. 2 weeks later, Sarah sent me a 40-page report. I read it in my empty house, Maggie's reading chair still indented from where she used to sit. Michael's section made my stomach turn. Off the books deals with a Chinese investment firm. Probable insider trading. Emails discussing confidential mergers before they were public. Calls to his brokerage minutes before major stock moves. And a gambling problem. $45,000 in debt to Rivers Casino. He'd been using company money, disguising it as client. Entertainment expenses. Jennifer's section was equally damning. $127,000 in credit card debt across 7 cards. She'd been faking brand sponsorships, posting products she bought herself and claiming companies paid her. Violation of FTC disclosure rules. Her boutique hadn't just failed, she'd taken investors' money, $50,000 total, and never paid them back. Possible fraud charges. My children were criminals. Not violent ones. White collar. The kind who wear suits and designer clothes while they lie and steal and ruin lives. I sat there with that report, and for the first time, I wondered. Had I done this? Had I raised them to be this way? We'd given them everything. Never said no, never made them work for anything. Maggie used to say, let's just help them one more time. They'll learn. They never learned. I found myself in Maggie's closet that night. Her clothes still hung there, smelling faintly of her lavender perfume. I couldn't bring myself to pack them away yet. Reaching for a shoebox on the top shelf, I knocked it down. Papers spilled across the floor. Letters. Dozens of them. Unsent letters in Maggie's handwriting. I picked one up. Dated 6 months before her diagnosis. Dear Michael, it read. I know you're busy with work and Ethan and your life. I understand. Your father and I are so proud of everything you've accomplished. But I miss you, sweetheart. We haven't seen you since Christmas, and it's June now. Could you maybe come for dinner sometime? Just an hour. I'd love to see my grandson. I'm making pot roast, your favorite. Love always, Mom. Unsent. She'd written it and never mailed it. Afraid of being a burden. Another letter, to Jennifer. Dearest Jennifer, I saw your Instagram post from Paris. It looked beautiful. I remember when you were 10 and said you'd take me to Paris someday. I know that was just kid talk. But I still think about it sometimes. I'm not asking you to take me to Paris. I'd just like to see you. Maybe coffee. My treat. I love you so much. Mom. Also unsent. I read through 20 letters. All of them invitations. Gentle requests for time, for attention, for love. None of them ever sent because Maggie didn't want to impose on her busy, important children. I found one dated a week before her diagnosis. To my children, it began. If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. I want you to know I never blamed you for being busy. Life moves fast, and I understand. Please don't fight with your father. He did everything for you. Everything for me. He's a good man, the best man. Take care of him. And take care of each other. Family is all we have in the end. Forever and always. Mom. She'd never sent it because she thought she had time. Cancer took that time. I sat on the closet floor, surrounded by my dead wife's unsent love letters to children who abandoned her, and I made my final decision. They didn't deserve her forgiveness. And they wouldn't get mine. I called Sarah Chen. We're moving forward, I said. Send me everything you have. It's time. Revenge is a dish best served cold. That's what they say. But sitting in the Oak Park Public Library at a computer terminal, creating an anonymous email account, my hands weren't cold. They were steady. Calm. Like I was doing something I should have done a long time ago. The email address was simple. concern.citizen.chicago@gmail.com, untraceable if you know what you're doing. Tom had walked me through it. Public computer, no personal information, routed through a VPN. The internet age had made revenge accessible to even a 72-year-old factory worker. I attached Sarah Chen's report. 40 pages of evidence. Michael's emails discussing confidential mergers. Call logs showing conversations with his broker minutes before major stock Announcements. Bank transfers to offshore accounts. Wire transfers from the Chinese investment firm to his personal account, disguised as consulting fees. The subject line was simple. Insider trading at Goldman Sachs Chicago branch, Michael Morrison. I sent it to 3 places. The Securities and Exchange Commission Enforcement Division. Goldman Sachs Internal Compliance Department. And the Chicago Tribune Financial Crimes tip line. My finger hovered over the mouse. Once I clicked send, there was no taking it back. Michael's career, his reputation. His entire life would implode. I thought about him at 8 years old, crying in my arms after breaking his arm. I thought about teaching him to drive, to shave, to tie a tie. I thought about his college graduation, how he'd hugged me and said, "Dad, everything I am is because of you." Then I thought about Maggie's funeral. The empty chairs. The $50 flowers. I clicked send. The first domino fell 2 weeks later. Goldman Sachs announced an internal investigation into potential securities violations in their Chicago office. 3 executives were placed on administrative leave pending review. Michael Morrison was one of them. I read the news on my phone while sitting in the same cafe across from his office building. I could see the Goldman Sachs logo from where I Saturday imagined Michael up there on the 42nd floor, panicking. My phone was a cheap Android I'd bought at Walmart for $40. But it had internet, and that was enough. I watched Michael's LinkedIn profile. Within hours, his title changed from vice president to on leave. By the end of the day, people were commenting, "Everything okay?" and "Hope all is well." The professional way of saying we all know you're in trouble. I sipped my coffee. $3 for a large. I'd learned to appreciate small luxuries again. Maggie used to say coffee tastes better when you're not rushing. She was right. A week later, the SEC announced formal charges. Insider trading investigation, 3 individuals at Goldman Sachs. Names weren't released yet. But the Chicago Business Journal ran a story. Sources confirmed one of the individuals under investigation is Michael Morrison, 45, a vice president who'd been with the firm for 12 years. I bought that newspaper. Kept it. Not as a trophy. As a receipt. Michael called me for the first time in 5 months. I was at home, eating dinner. Salisbury steak frozen meal, $2 on sale. I let it ring 3 times before answering. "Dad," Michael said. His voice was different. Shaky. Scared. "Dad, something's happening. The SEC, they're investigating me. They froze my accounts. I don't know who tipped them off, but someone sent them evidence, and I think I'm going to lose my job." I chewed my Salisbury steak. Said nothing. "Dad, are you there?" "I'm here." "I need help," he said. "I need a lawyer. A good one. This could be criminal charges, Dad. I could go to prison. Can you loan me some money for a lawyer? Please." The word please. I begged him with that same word. Standing in his penthouse. Holding Maggie's cancer diagnosis. I swallowed my food. "Michael," I said, my voice calm. "That sounds like your problem. Not mine." Silence on the line. "Dad," he whispered. "Please. I'm your son. And Maggie was your mother," I said. "Where were you when she needed you?" I heard him breathing. Fast, panicked. "This is different," he said. "No," I replied. "It's exactly the same. Goodbye, Michael." I hung up. Blocked his number. Ate the rest of my dinner. But I wasn't done. Michael still had Ashley. Still had his marriage. His home, his son. He needed to lose more. The casino debt was easy. Sarah Chen had photographs. Michael at Rivers Casino in Des Plaines at 2 in the morning on a Tuesday. Michael at the blackjack tables. Michael signing markers for cash advances. $45,000 over 18 months. I mailed the photos to Ashley. No return address. Just the photos and a printout of his casino account statement, showing the debt. Ashley filed for divorce 3 days later. I know because the filing is public record in Cook County. Dissolution of marriage, Ashley Morrison vs. Michael Morrison. Grounds, financial infidelity and fraud. She got a restraining order too. Michael was barred from their penthouse. Had to move out within 72 hours. I learned later from Tom, who heard from another lawyer, that Ashley discovered Michael had taken money from Ethan's college fund. $30,000, gambled away over 6 months. That's what broke her. Not the SEC investigation. Not the job loss. The fact that he'd stolen from their son. Michael moved into a studio apartment in Uptown. $850 a month. 1 room, Murphy bed. Shared bathroom down the hall. I know because I drove by one day. Saw him carrying boxes from a U-Haul. He'd lost weight. His hair was uncombed. He wore sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. This was the same man who'd worn $3,000 suits. Who'd looked at me in his penthouse and said, "That's your problem, Dad." Goldman Sachs fired him officially 4 weeks after the investigation started. The termination letter was leaked to the Chicago Tribune. Gross violations of securities regulations and company policy. Effective immediately. No severance. No benefits. His Series 7 license was revoked by FINRA. He could never work in finance again. The Tribune ran a full story. Former Goldman Sachs VP Michael Morrison fired amid insider trading scandal. They used his LinkedIn photo. Him in a suit, smiling, confident. That photo was everywhere. Google his name and that's what came up. Michael Morrison, insider trading. Michael Morrison. Securities fraud. Michael Morrison, disgraced. His life's work, reduced to a scandal. Ethan, his 12-year-old son, had to change schools. The other kids, the parents, everyone knew. Ashley enrolled him in public school. No more $30,000 private academy. I felt a moment of guilt about that. Ethan was innocent. But then I remembered. So was Maggie. And children suffer for their parents' sins. That's just how the world works. Michael called from different numbers. Friends' phones. Borrowed phones. I never answered. He left voicemails. "Dad. Please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about Mom. About everything. Please just talk to me. I have nothing left. You're all I have." I deleted them without listening all the way through. One Saturday morning, I was at the grocery store. Jewel Osco on Lake Street. I was comparing prices on canned soup. 49 cents versus 79 cents. When you're on a fixed income, 30 cents matters. I looked up and saw Michael 3 aisles over. He was alone, holding a basket with ramen noodles and white bread. Basic stuff. Cheap stuff. He looked terrible. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, wearing clothes that didn't fit right anymore. He saw me. Our eyes met across the store. He froze. I saw his mouth form the word, "Dad." I turned my cart around and walked away. Left my soup. Left the store. Got on the bus and went home. That night, I opened Maggie's photo album. Found the picture of Michael at 8, his arm in a cast, smiling at the camera. I'd taken that photo at the hospital after the doctor set his bone. I'd worked 3 jobs to pay that bill. Carried him for months because his arm hurt too much to do things himself. I closed the album. Some arms, when they break, don't heal right. Michael was broken now. And I had no intention of carrying him. 1 down. 1 to go. Jennifer's world was built on lies. And the thing about lies is they only work if nobody questions them. I was about to start asking questions. Jennifer had 487,000 followers on Instagram. Her bio said lifestyle influencer, brand partner, entrepreneur. Her feed was a carefully curated fantasy. Designer handbags on marble counters. Brunch plates arranged like art. Motivational quotes over sunset photos. Live your best life. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Her followers believed it. Brands believed it. Everyone believed Jennifer Morrison had made it. Sarah Chen's report told a different story. Jennifer hadn't been paid for a brand partnership in 8 months. She was buying products herself, photographing them, posting them with fake enthusiasm and hashtags. No disclosure that these were purchases, not partnerships. Direct violation of Federal Trade Commission regulations. Influencers are required by law to disclose paid partnerships. Jennifer was committing fraud, 1 Instagram post at a time. Knocked it down. First, I contacted the Federal Trade Commission. Another anonymous email from a different public library in Skokie. Attached evidence. Screenshots of Jennifer's posts claiming brand partnerships with companies that had never paid her. I'd even called 2 companies pretending to be a potential sponsor. Both confirmed they'd never worked with Jennifer Morrison. The FTC takes influencer fraud seriously. Fines up to $43,000 per violation. I documented 42 violations. Next, I contacted her creditors. All 7 of them provided Jennifer's current address, her known income sources, evidence of assets. A $2,000 designer handbag in a post from last week. A $1,500 coat. Jewelry, shoes, electronics. All of it photographed and posted publicly. Creditors love public evidence. Makes their job easy. The 3rd step was the brands she defrauded. I sent anonymous tips to 12 companies. Your products are being used without authorization by Jennifer Morrison, Instagram handle at jennifer.lives.luxury. She's implying paid partnerships that don't exist. Thought you should know. Brands hate that. It's trademark infringement, damages their reputation. Their legal teams move fast. I sent everything on a Monday. By Wednesday, Jennifer's world started crumbling. The first cease and desist letter arrived from a luxury handbag company, demanding she remove all posts featuring their products and pay damages for unauthorized brand association. $15,000. The second letter came from a cosmetics company. $20,000 in damages. By Friday, she'd received 6 letters. Total damages claimed, $89,000. Her credit card companies filed judgments. Cook County court records show Jennifer Morrison, defendant, Capital One Bank plaintiff. Judgment for $17,400 plus interest and legal fees. Then Chase. Then American Express. Public records. Anyone could see them. Jennifer posted a crying video on Instagram stories. Voice shaking, makeup running. I don't know what's happening, she said. Someone is attacking me. Sending false reports. Trying to ruin my life. If you've ever supported me, please, I need you now. The comments weren't sympathetic. People had done their research. Court records are public. Someone posted a screenshot. Jennifer Morrison owes $127,000 in credit card debt and you're asking US for money. Another comment. You've been lying about brand deals. That's fraud, hun. Her follower count dropped. 487,000 to 412,000 in 3 days. Then 360,000. Brands started commenting. We have never partnered with this account. Please remove our products from your posts. Public humiliation. Exactly what she deserved. The creditors moved fast once they had judgments. Jennifer's bank accounts were garnished. 75% of any deposit seized automatically. Her car, a leased Mercedes she couldn't afford, was repossessed on a Thursday afternoon outside a coffee shop. Someone filmed it, posted it on TikTok. It went viral. Influencer's car repossessed, 2.3 million views. I watched that video on my phone. Watched Jennifer crying, arguing with the tow truck driver. Watched strangers film her breakdown for entertainment. I felt nothing. Her landlord filed eviction papers. 3 months behind on rent, $7,200 owed. She had 30 days to vacate. Jennifer called me 2 weeks after I'd started. I was expecting it. I let it ring twice before answering. Daddy, she sobbed. Daddy, please. Everything's falling apart. My accounts are frozen. I'm being evicted. My car's gone. Brands are suing me. Someone is doing this to me and I don't know who or why. I sat in Maggie's chair. The one she used to read in. Her library book was still on the side table, bookmark holding her place. She'd never finish it now. Jennifer, I said calmly. That sounds difficult. Can you help me? She cried. Please. I know I wasn't there for you and Mom. I know I messed up. But I'm drowning, Daddy. I have nothing. I'm staying on my friend's couch. I have $200 to my name. $200. Maggie died because we were $64,000 short of treatment. Jennifer spent $200 on brunch. Where were you when your mother died? I asked. She went quiet. I was, she stammered. You were at brunch, I said. I saw your Instagram story. Mimosas and French toast. Hashtag self-care. While I buried your mother alone. Daddy, I'm sorry. Jennifer's voice broke. I'm so sorry. I was scared. I didn't know how to, I couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle it. I repeated. So you went to brunch. I made a mistake, she cried. Please. I'll do anything. I'll make it up to you. Just help me. Please. I looked at Maggie's book. A mystery novel from the library. She'd loved mysteries. Always tried to guess the ending. She'd never guessed this one. Jennifer, I said. Do you know how many times I called you the night your mother died? She didn't answer. 47 times, I said. 47. And you didn't answer once. Not once. The next morning you texted me asking what was for breakfast at your mother's funeral. Breakfast. Like it was a casual event. I wasn't thinking, she stammered. No, I said. You weren't. You never did. And now you want me to save you like I saved you your whole life. Paid for your school, your wedding. Your failed business. Gave you everything. And you gave your mother nothing. Daddy, please. Your mother wrote you letters, I said. Dozens of them. Asking you to visit. To call. To just acknowledge. She existed. She never sent them because she didn't want to burden you. She died thinking she was a burden to her own daughter. Jennifer was sobbing now. Incomprehensible words through tears. You wanted me to fix your problems, I said. Well, Jennifer, here's what I learned from you. Some problems aren't mine to fix. This is your problem. Not mine. I hung up. Blocked her number. I pulled out one of Maggie's unsent letters. The one to Jennifer about Paris. I read it again, her handwriting shaky but full of love. Jennifer lost her apartment the next week. Her Instagram account was permanently suspended for FTC violations and fraud. Her TikTok was deleted after mass reports. Her online presence, her entire identity, gone. I heard through Dorothy, our neighbor, that Jennifer was working at a Target in Schaumburg. Retail associate. $12 an hour. Living in a studio apartment in Palatine with 2 roommates. From influencer to retail worker. From luxury high-rise to shared studio. From 487,000 followers to 0. I didn't feel triumph. Didn't feel joy. Just a quiet, cold satisfaction. She was learning what consequences meant. What it felt like to lose everything. And I still wasn't done. They came on a Tuesday night. 9:15 p.m. I was watching the evening news, eating a sandwich. Turkey and mustard on white bread. 99 cents a loaf at Aldi. The doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Looked through the peephole and saw them. Michael and Jennifer. Standing on my porch in the cold November air. They looked like ghosts of the people they used to be. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. Dad, Michael said. His voice was hoarse. We need to talk. Jennifer's eyes were red and swollen. She'd been crying. Probably for days. Daddy, please, she whispered. I stood in the doorway. Arms crossed. Say what you came to say. Michael stepped forward. He'd lost maybe 30 pounds. His coat was old, torn at the sleeve. Can we come in? It's freezing. No, I said. They stood there shivering. Jennifer pulled her coat tighter. It wasn't a designer coat anymore. Looked like something from Goodwill. Dad, Michael started. We know. We know what you did. The emails to the section that tips to Jennifer's creditors. The FTC report. All of it. We know it was you. I didn't deny it. And why? Jennifer cried. Why would you do this to us? We're your children. The word children made something hot flare in my chest. You're my children, I said. My voice low and sharp. You're right. I changed your diapers. Walked you to school. Taught you to read, to ride bikes, to drive cars. I worked myself to the bone so you could have everything I didn't. Dad, we know, Michael said. Do you? I stepped onto the porch. They backed up. Do you know I worked 3 jobs when you broke your arm, Michael? Slept 4 hours a night for 8 months to pay that hospital bill. You were 8. You don't remember. But I do. I remember every sleepless night. Michael's face crumpled. And you, I turned to Jennifer. Your mother sewed your wedding dress. By hand. For 4 months. Her fingers bled. Literally bled. She'd wrap them in bandages and keep sewing because we couldn't afford to buy a dress. You told people it came from a boutique. You were ashamed of her. Jennifer sobbed. I didn't know. I didn't know her fingers bled. You didn't care to know, I said. You took and never once asked what it cost us. We were young. Michael said. We didn't understand. You're 45 years old, I snapped. When exactly were you planning to understand? When were you going to wake up and realize your parents were people who sacrificed everything? The street was quiet. A dog barked somewhere. A car passed. Normal Tuesday night. Except my children were begging on my porch. Dad, please, Jennifer knelt down. Actually knelt on the cold concrete. We're sorry. We're so sorry. We were selfish. We were wrong. Mom deserved better. You deserved better. Sorry doesn't bring her back, I said. Michael pulled Jennifer to her feet. Dad, what do you want from us? You've taken everything. My career. My marriage. My son barely speaks to me. Jennifer's lost everything too. What more do you want? I looked at them. Really looked. They were broken. Exactly like I'd planned. And I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No regret. Just emptiness. I want you to feel what your mother felt. I said quietly. Alone. Worthless. Abandoned by the people who were supposed to love her. We love you, Jennifer whispered. No, I said. You love what I gave you. You never loved us. If you did, you would have been there. One phone call. One visit. One moment of your precious time. That's all she needed. And you couldn't even give her that. We'll make it up to you, Michael said desperately. We'll do anything. Just tell us what you want. I stepped back into my house. My hand on the door. What I want, I said, is for you to understand that actions have consequences. You abandoned your mother when she was dying. You told me her cancer was my problem. So now your problems are yours. Not mine. Jennifer reached for me. Daddy, please. We have nothing left. Nowhere to go. You're all we have. I looked at her hand. The same hand I'd held when she was 5 and scared of the dark. The same hand that hadn't held Maggie's in the hospital. Your mother's last words were, "Don't blame them," I said. She made me promise to forgive you. And I lied to her. On her deathbed, I lied. Because some things can't be forgiven. I stepped inside. Dad, Michael shouted. We're still your family. I stopped. Turned. Looked at both of them. Family shows up, I said. You didn't. We're done here. I closed the door. Locked it. Listened to them crying on the other side. Jennifer pounding weakly. Michael calling my name. I walked to the kitchen. Sat down. Finished my sandwich. The crying stopped after 10 minutes. I heard a car start. Drive away. Silence. I looked at Maggie's empty chair. Was that enough? I asked her ghost. Is that justice? The chair didn't answer. But I knew it wasn't over. Destroying them wasn't enough. I needed it legal. Official. Permanent. I called Tom Bradley. It's time, I said. File the lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed on December 4th. Morrison versus Morrison and Morrison. Cook County Circuit Court. Domestic Relations Division. Tom Bradley handed me the stamped filing. It was real now. Official. The complaint was 32 pages. Itemized every dollar I'd spent on Michael and Jennifer from birth to age 30. College tuition, $156,000. Cars, $48,000. Jennifer's wedding, $28,000. Business loan to Jennifer, $50,000 co-signed and never repaid. Medical expenses, clothing, housing, food, everything. Total, $340,000. We also sued for emotional distress, elder abandonment under Illinois Elder Abuse and Neglect Act. $75,000 in damages. Their court date was January 9th. 6 weeks away. Michael hired a public defender. He couldn't afford a real lawyer. Jennifer represented herself. Couldn't even afford the public defender's fees. The morning of the trial, I put on my only suit. The same one I'd worn to Maggie's funeral. Dark blue, 20 years old. Smelled like mothballs. Tom picked me up at 7:30. The courthouse was downtown, Daly Center. 20 minutes in traffic. We entered courtroom 1804. Judge Patricia Hernandez presiding. She was 72. I'd looked her up. Appointed to the bench in 2003. Specialized in family law. Known for tough rulings. Michael and Jennifer sat at the defendant's table. Michael's public defender was young, maybe 28. Looked nervous. Jennifer had a yellow legal pad and a pen. That was it. All rise, the bailiff called. Judge Hernandez entered. Short woman. Gray hair, sharp eyes behind rimless glasses. She read the case file. Looked up at us. This is a claim for reimbursement of child rearing costs and elder abandonment, she said. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor, Tom said. The judge looked at Michael and Jennifer. Do you contest these claims? Michael's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client acknowledges that his father provided financial support during his upbringing. However, there is no legal obligation for adult children to reimburse parents for the costs of raising them. This is unprecedented. Judge Hernandez raised an eyebrow. Illinois has filial responsibility laws, counselor. Adult children can be held responsible for parental care. And if the plaintiff can demonstrate abandonment and neglect, reimbursement is within legal grounds. Proceed. Tom called me to the stand. I was sworn in. Told to sit. The courtroom was small, maybe 20 people in the gallery. Mostly law students observing. Mr. Morrison. Tom said. Please tell the court about your relationship with your children. I told them everything. 42 years at Ford. Maggie's 35 at the library. How we'd scrimped and saved. The 3 jobs when Michael broke his arm. The bleeding fingers for Jennifer's dress. The cancer. The $180,000 treatment we couldn't afford. And did you ask your children for help? Tom asked. Yes, I said. I begged them. What did they say? My voice didn't shake. I looked right at Michael. He said, "That's your problem, Dad, not mine." The courtroom was silent. Tom presented evidence. Bank statements showing transfers. Receipts for tuition payments. The wedding invoice. The business loan papers Jennifer never paid back. Emails and texts showing I'd asked for help. Call logs. 47 missed calls the day Maggie died. Then he showed the Instagram post. Jennifer at brunch, posted at 11:42 am. The exact time of Maggie's funeral. Michael's lawyer tried. Your Honor, my client was under financial stress. He has his own family to support. Judge Hernandez cut him off. So did his father, who worked 3 jobs while your client was a child. Next. Jennifer spoke for herself. Her voice shaking. Your Honor, I made mistakes. I know that. I was scared and selfish. But my father, he destroyed our lives on purpose. He admitted it. He sent the tips to the SEC, to the FTC, to my creditors. He did this. Yes, I did, I said from the witness stand. Judge Hernandez looked at me. Mr. Morrison, did you orchestrate the events that led to your children's financial ruin? I did, I said. I wanted them to feel what their mother felt. Abandoned. Helpless. Watching everything fall apart while the people who should help you turn away. The judge wrote something. Mr. Morrison, she said. This court doesn't typically condone revenge. However, revenge and consequence are not the same thing. She looked at Michael and Jennifer. You abandoned your mother in her dying days. You refused to help despite having means. You didn't attend her funeral. Is this accurate? Yes, Your Honor, Michael whispered. The judge's face hardened. I've been on this bench for 21 years. I've seen many things. But the callousness you displayed toward your dying mother is among the worst. Your father's actions, while ethically questionable, don't absolve you of your neglect. She banged her gavel. I find in favor of the plaintiff. Michael Morrison and Jennifer Morrison are ordered to pay Henry Morrison $340,000 in reimbursement for child rearing costs, plus $75,000 in emotional distress damages. Total $415,000. Payment plan: $2,500 per month until paid in full. Jennifer collapsed in her chair. Michael put his head in his hands. This court is adjourned, Judge Hernandez said. I stood up. Tom shook my hand. You won, he said. I looked at my children. Broken. Defeated. And I felt nothing. No joy. No sadness. Just the cold weight of justice. Outside the courthouse, snow was starting to fall. First snow of winter. Maggie had loved the first snow. I walked to the bus stop alone. Rosehill Cemetery looks different in winter. The oak trees are bare. The grass is brown and frozen. Snow covers the headstones like blankets. I walked the familiar path to Maggie's grave, my breath clouding in the January air. Her headstone was simple. Gray granite. Margaret Morrison, beloved. Wife, mother, friend. 1954 to 2023. I'd had them add one line at the bottom. She loved with her whole heart. I knelt down, my old knees protesting against the frozen ground. Pulled Maggie's wedding ring from my pocket. I'd been carrying it since the funeral. 3 months. Worn smooth from 47 years on her finger. I placed it on top of the headstone. The gold looked bright against the gray stone. It's done, I said out loud. They paid. The court ordered $415,000. They'll be paying for the next 14 years. $2,500 every month. They'll never forget what they did. A crow called from somewhere. The cemetery was empty except for me and the dead. I pulled out the letters. Maggie's unsent letters to Michael and Jennifer. I brought them all. Did you know they never cared? I asked her. Did you know and love them anyway? The stone didn't answer. But I knew. She'd known. And she'd loved them despite it. That was the difference between us. Maggie forgave. I didn't. I'm sorry I broke my promise, I whispered. You asked me to forgive them. I can't. Maybe I'm not as good as you. Maybe I'm just a bitter old man. But they needed to learn. And now they have. I stood up. My knees ached. Everything ached these days. I'm trying to move on, I told her. Sold the house. Too many memories. Bought a small condo in Elmhurst. 1 bedroom. Closer to the library. I volunteer there now. Helping seniors with computers. You'd like that. The wind picked up. Cold and sharp. First payment came last week, I said. $2,500. Check from Michael. Check from Jennifer. $12.50 each. I donated it all to the American Cancer Society. In your name. Figured you'd want that more than me keeping it. I touched the headstone. The granite was ice cold. I miss you, I said. And that was true. Winning didn't fill the emptiness. Justice didn't bring her back. I'd torn down my children's lives and I still came home to an empty house. I received a letter last week. Forwarded from the old address. Careful handwriting. Young. It was from Ethan, Michael's son. 12 years old. Dear Grandpa, it said. Dad told me what happened. I don't understand everything. Adults make things complicated. But I remember Grandma. She used to send me birthday cards with $5 inside. She'd call me on Christmas. She was nice. I'm sorry she died. I'm sorry I didn't go to the funeral. Dad says you're mad at him. Maybe you're right to be. But I miss you. Love, Ethan. I'd read that letter 10 times. Cried twice. A 12-year-old boy, innocent in all this, missing his grandfather. Missing his grandmother. I haven't written back yet. Don't know what to say. 3 months after the trial, I'm learning to live again. Small things. Coffee at the diner on Tuesdays. Volunteering Thursdays. I see Dorothy, my neighbor, at the park sometimes. We talk about our children. Hers abandoned her too. We understand each other. Last Saturday, I went fishing. First time in 20 years. Drove out to Lake Michigan, rented a rod, sat on a pier for 4 hours. Didn't catch anything. Didn't matter. The water was calm. The sun was warm. I felt something I hadn't felt in a year. Peace. Not happiness. Not joy. Just peace. I stood at Maggie's grave as the sun started setting. Orange and pink across the winter sky. She'd loved sunsets. I did what I thought was right, I told her. Maybe it was wrong. Maybe it was both. But they know now. They know what they lost. They know what it costs. I kissed my fingers, touched the headstone. Goodbye, Maggie. I walked back to my car. Started the engine. Drove home to my empty condo. Made dinner. Watched the news. Went to bed. And for the first time in a year, I slept through the night. No nightmares. No rage. Just sleep. Revenge didn't bring her back. But it taught them what they lost. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. Here's what I learned. Family isn't just blood. It's action. It's showing up when it's hard. It's sacrifice when it costs you something. Maggie and I gave our children everything, but we never taught them the most important lesson. That love isn't what you receive. It's what you give. Was I right to destroy them? I don't know. Some nights I think yes. They earned every consequence. Other nights I look at Ethan's letter and wonder if I went too far. But here's the truth. Actions have consequences. That's not revenge. That's life. Michael and Jennifer learned that the hard way. If you're watching this and you've got children, teach them gratitude. Teach them sacrifice. Don't just give them everything. Show them what it costs. And if you're watching this and you've been abandoned by your own family, know this. You're not alone. You're not worthless. And sometimes, the only justice you'll get is the kind you make yourself. If this story meant something to you, hit that subscribe button. Join our community. Here at John's Revenge Stories, we share real stories about real consequences. Click the like button if you believe actions should have consequences. And drop a comment below. Tell us where you're watching from. Have you experienced something similar? We read every single comment. Your story matters. There's a whole playlist of stories like this one. Cold Justice, True Revenge Stories. Click that playlist. You won't regret it. And remember, revenge isn't always wrong. Sometimes it's just balance finally being restored. Thanks for listening. Until next time, this is John's Revenge Stories.